Hey guys, it's Iona from MinnaNoIona, and today I'm going to talk to you about the three main textbooks I've used during the course of my Japanese studying. Now, I've studied Japanese for about 6 years, and recently I just passed the JLPT N4, and I'm going to talk to you today about the three main books I used to pass the JLPT N5 and the JLPT N4. So we're going to start off with the book that I'm currently using. This is Minna no Nihongo. It's glorious. I love this book. It's honestly, out of all the books that I've used, this is definitely hands down my favourite. Now, it is a little bit expensive. It's 2,500, which is about maybe £16, but just look at the amount of information in this book. It is absolutely fantastic, and I'm going to tell you a little bit in a moment about why I love it so much. Now, I am a true grammar girl, and the little pink things I'm showing you on the side are the kind of grammar lessons that are in the book. So there's actually 50 of these grammar lessons, and kind of on each lesson in the pink box they've got the kind of grammar, how you do it, etc. And usually per kind of grammar lesson there's a few points, so in this one there's 2. However, what I will say, and what you're probably noticing, is there is no English. And you know, this can be a good thing and a bad thing. One good thing I'll say about the book is, as I'm showing you now, there's various exercises and stuff after the grammar lessons that help you get used to the particular grammar, but obviously if you're not fluent in Japanese you won't understand what the grammar means. So I would say for this book, even though it's got a huge amount of information as I'm showing you right now, self-study, especially when it comes to the grammar points, can be a little bit difficult because there isn't really any explanations, just examples. However, I used this book mainly to pass N4, and it was the best book that I could have chosen for that in my experience. The amount of information is fantastic. There's a lot of kanji, there's a lot of vocabulary, there's little fun stories as well, so it's not always really difficult studying. Obviously though, because of the English thing, it can be difficult, and it was sometimes difficult to self-study, but I mean, look at all these grammar points. I am a grammar baby. I love them so much. So when I used this book, I felt like my grammar really did skyrocket, and I have nothing but positive reviews for this book. So I would say to someone who's looking to get a good grammar book for the N5, N4, Minna no Nihongo is great. But the main issue I have with it that I will kind of say is that because it's all in Japanese, sometimes self-study can be a little bit difficult and you will have to search the meaning yourself. But I mean, look at all this information. You can see they've got some words underlined, and these are words that you can find actually in the back of the book. I didn't show it in this bit, but there's a glossary, and there's so much information, and you can go back and check that before your exams. It's fantastic. But this book is 2,500, so it is a little bit more expensive than the average textbook, but I do really recommend it. I love this book so much. Okay guys, so the next book I'm going to show you is probably the most popular Japanese textbook, I think. This is Genki. I actually used this when I was studying for the N5 exam. I managed to buy this finally in Japan because I couldn't get it in my country, and I was so pumped to use it because it is just such a beautiful book and is super popular. It is a really big book, but what I'm going to show you is that it is the most expensive out of all the books I've shown you. It's 3,500, which is around £25. It's still not too bad for a textbook, but it is in the higher kind of region, I'd say. But look at the amount of information. So as I said, I bought this when I was studying for the N5 exam. I ended up swapping it out for Minna no Nihongo, but this is a great book. As you can see, it's got a CD at the back for listening practice. It's also got a katakana script at the back, and at the front of the book it's got a hiragana script. So that's great when I was about N5 level and I needed to sometimes revise and review some kind of more difficult katakana kind of symbols, etc. So Genki is a fantastic book. I would say it's kind of, for N5, it's good. There's a lot of information, as I'm about to show you. Compared to Minna no Nihongo, there's a lot of English. Like, obviously it has the grammar points and it's got Japanese in it, but I would say when you compare it to what we just saw in Minna no Nihongo, there is a lot more English. But obviously there's kind of pros and cons of this. Obviously with Minna no Nihongo, because there's not English, it can be a little bit difficult to kind of find out the meaning for yourself, but with Genki the meaning's written down. But in my opinion, opinion, when I study Japanese, I find that if I just read for that kind of full lesson time or designated time I've given myself to study Japanese, if I just think completely in Japanese and don't read English, that's better for me. However, that's not the case for everyone, so Genki can be great for a lot of people. And you know, there's so much stuff, as I'm about to show you actually. At the back, there's this kind of grammar revision thing, so it's kind of got the basic grammar kind of forms, so it's got like te form, etc. And this is really, really useful. You need to know these forms for the exams, especially N5. It's also got a huge kind of vocabulary section, which is so useful because you can check that just before you sit your exam. So Genki is a great book with a lot of information. Just in my personal experience though, I ended up switching to MinnaNoIona because I felt like I got more out of it. Genki's great, and I feel like you can maybe take it a little bit slower. There's a lot of kind of fun activities. There is some kanji as well, but when I do compare it to MinnaNoIona, I feel like MinnaNoIona had more kind of information that did help me more with the JLPT exam, but that is just my experience anyway. I know a lot of people that used Genki and did really well in the exams. What I will say about Genki is it's got these really cute little drawings which do make the kind of language learning so much more fun. So it is a really fantastic book. It is obviously in the pricier range, but I would say if you're looking for a kind of book that's around the kind of N5 level, maybe a little bit N4, Genki can be the one for you. There's a lot of information. It is a really big book and you're going to learn a lot, and it's got a CD unlike MinnaNoIona. Okay guys, so the final book I'm going to show you is my OG. This is Japanese for Busy People, and this is the first edition. This is the first ever Japanese book I used. I used this when I went to a Japanese night class at the University of Edinburgh, and God, there's so many good memories with this book. This is truly a beginner's one, as I'm just about to show you. The kind of first things you're going to learn is like kind of introductions and stuff, as you can see here. You know, I will give them props. They do use hiragana and katakana. They are using the scripts, not just Romaji. And this does have English translation, which is good. It's also got little activity points you can see as well with my handwriting. It's also got little stories as well, which is a really kind of fun way, short dialogue you can pick up. But if I'm totally honest, this is a complete beginner book, and you know, some people have said they've used this for N5, but in my experience, I use this book actually, and I've done a lot of revision. I've used the listening as well. I've done every kind of part to it, the grammar, etc. But I don't feel like it's good enough for me to pass N5 with. However, as I'm showing you now, it has got a massive kind of English to Japanese glossary at the back, so there's a lot of information and vocab there that you're going to pick up, and obviously that's going to be great for the Japanese exam. However, because it is so beginners and it is kind of focusing on a lot of writing and stuff as well, I feel like it's probably not the best book for the JLPT. However, what I will say is it's got these really fun units. It's got like that one there, the office, and it's got this one, which is the museum. So it's kind of like stories and grammar and vocab you can fit into certain places, which I think is really, really useful. And it really does help people, I think, start their Japanese journey. So I do really like this book, and I've got really great fond memories of it. Now, the price actually, it's in dollars. It's $25, which I'm guessing is maybe around £20. But this book was actually pretty easy to find in the UK, and it's a really, really popular one actually that I know a lot of people who are starting to get into Japanese use, and I do recommend this. However, if you're going for the N5, I would say that this is a good book to start with, but I don't think it's going to be good enough for the N5. But this is a fantastic book to get people started. It's so fun, it's so cute, before stuff gets serious. But again, it is about £20, which I guess is a bit more. I expect to pay about £15 for a textbook. But I think it's definitely worth it. There's a lot of information, there's the CD, the glossary, really, really fun stories as well. So I think it is a fantastic book actually. So if we just put all the books I've used down. You've got Genki, MinnaNoIona, and Japanese for Busy People. MinnaNoIona is definitely my favourite. This is the one I'm currently using right now, and this helped me pass N5 and N4. So I would recommend that if you're wanting to sit N5 and N4, MinnaNoIona is the book for you. But don't turn your back on Genki. Genki can be great for other people, and Japanese for Busy People is a fantastic book to get people started in Japanese.